It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielson and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
12:02 on a Monday. Welcome to the Oil Stream right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk, and this has been working quite well. I've noticed over the last couple of times on the Nielsen Show, I've been saying, hey, if you're watching our content, subscribe to the content. Hey, Trev, right? Yeah, if you ask for subscribers, they seem to subscribe. So if you're watching right now, if you're watching Edmonton Sports Talk and you like what we're doing, hit the subscribe button and subscribe to it. We know like twice as many people are watching than are subscribed. So subscribe to the channel. That would be great. It is the Oil Stream with Dusty and Tommy Gazzola. Tommy, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Hi, Dusty. Yeah, some people caught me eating my wrap.
What type of wrap did you have there? Oh, chicken chipotle wrap, eh?
Really good. I picked it up on my way home from the rink. So it's very convenient considering how cold it is to just stay inside. And then there's the grocery store right on the corner.
Okay.
Pick something up. I wanted to get the soup and the sandwich. They have like a soup and sandwich thing, and it's really good. But the lunch rush was huge. There was like 15 people in line.
So you stay inside all the way into the grocery store?
Yep. And then you come out.
You didn't have to go out at all. Didn't have to go out at all.
I did just to get to my building because I have to go across the street.
Ah, okay. Yeah. I thought maybe you stayed inside the whole way. Yeah, that would have been amazing.
Almost.
That would have been pretty cool. Yeah. Dusty and Tommy Gazzola with you. The Wolf, who I think is on a little bit of vacation right now, so he's just taking in the content. He goes, in the words of Thor, another show starting right here on the Edmonton Sports Talk YouTube channel. And like I said, if you have not yet subscribed, subscribe right now. As the Wolf says, every time you say subscribe, I have to unsubscribe just to subscribe again. But I do it every single time. That's nice.
Thanks, Wolf.
Moeller Mahler. I don't think I've seen Moeller Mahler chime in before. This is nice.
All right.
Soup would have froze on the way in the car anyways. Well, Tommy's walking to and from the rink because he lives right there. But, yeah, Soup probably would have been a little chilly. It was cold this weekend, eh, Tommy? My goodness, man.
Oh, my God.
Except for the Oilers. They're red hot.
Hey, now.
Yeah.
Hey-o. And then congrats to you and those Lions. Well done. Well done. Good
buddy,
battle.
what a day. First one since I became a fan in 93. So this is very exciting. Yeah.
But, it's like the Oilers are hot. And, just I had to quick hop, skip, and a jump. And no driving involved with me. So these Oilers, man, on fire. And then yesterday, we're talking about that. When I got up and I looked outside, like all I could see was like, it was kind of like foggy.
Yeah.
But then all the exhaust from the buildings downtown. And it just like, I could barely see the high rise across the street from my place. It was unreal. I'm like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. So looks like it's cranking up when we get to minus 19 tomorrow. It's going to be just so hot and warm and everybody's going to be super comfortable at minus 19 tomorrow.
Yeah, nice balmy minus 19. That's great. I even went out, like I was telling Tammy, if it gets to minus 60, I want to go outside just to see what minus 60 is like. Maybe it makes me a sick puppy, but I was like, am I ever going to have a chance to be outside in minus 60 again? Now, I wasn't going out for a walk. I was just going to open up the door, step outside and breathe and be like, wow, minus 60. Then I was going to go back in and get to bed, but I don't think it got down to minus 60 like it said it was going to. But it was absolutely ridiculously cold over the weekend. You were out and about, though, on Saturday night for a little pre- and post-game action. How did it go at the Shamrock?
Really good. And you are a sick puppy as well.
I am, very much.
Everybody knows that. Regardless of the minus 60. But it was pretty good. A big thank you to Gavin Morton from the Shamrock Curling Club, his lovely wife, Angela. The commish was pouring drinks. She was working bar.
Yeah, commish Quinn Phillips works at the Shamrock sometimes. I think what she tells, she works Monday nights there.
Yeah.
I think that's what she told me. And then obviously for like a big bonspiel like that one, she's going to be there for that one.
She pops in. So it was a really fun time. It was the Oilers alumni bonspiel. The Sheet Disturbers, the team that I had the good fortune of playing a couple games for, that was my team. They won. Carrie, Michelle, Steve, and Jamie. Yeah, they won, man. And it went down to the wire in 3 of 4 games.
What?
And they beat Jeff Drew and Delorier's team. And now I've now added my name to another OEG championship trophy. We got our names on the media golf tournament trophy earlier last summer. And then now I've got one coming up here on the Oilers Alumni bonspiel trophy. So that's 2 and 8 years working for them. I don't think I had my name on a single one of their extracurricular activity trophies.
Tommy, you are really putting together a hell of a run here.
I'm on fire, man. But it was my team. The Sheet Disturbers were great. They were excellent curlers out of Red Deer. And they wound up finding out about the bonspiel on Facebook, I believe.
Wait, so were they ringers?
They were good. But they play regularly. They're not pros or anything, but they've been playing for a long time. They're on different teams.
They weren't pros who were trying to slide in. This is the second time today that I've made a Rounders reference, but like Mikey McDermott sliding into like the Lawyers game and stuff like that. Right. Like, you guys pros, you working right at the policeman's game, the municipal game.
That's right.
I mean, I feel like that's might have been what they were. Like, who knows?
They were just very good, smart strategy and excellent execution on a Saturday night on the pebbled ice. But there were pros there, and they were the celebrity teammates, and there was a few people that had like the stopwatch on their on their waist, and I was like, oh, and then even like the sponsorships on their pants, and I was like, these are pros, be careful.
And they didn't win.
No, because the Sheet Disturbers did.
The Sheet Disturbers, also an excellent curling name too.
Great name,
man.
Great name.
That sounds like a great time. Do you get some 6 o'clock? What was it like getting 6 o'clock or lager on tap?
It tastes just as good, if not better, on tap as it does in the can. Yeah, it was really, really good. And I had a couple. I was recommending it to people, and everybody that's had it has given it a 2 thumbs up because it's an excellent beer. So that was really cool to see it on tap. And then the show was a lot of fun too. Like, Cass was on location. He's feeling better. That was great. Gager stopped by a bunch of times. We had Strutty pop on really quickly. We had Quinn. We had Gavin from the Shamrock Curling Club. Chris Dingman came in just to say hi really quickly. So it was a lot of fun and a really good vibe, especially on the post-game show.
Well, obviously on the post-game show after they win their 10th in a row in dramatic fashion, Bouchard with a bomb that bounces off the netminder and into the net, and they win on the power play in overtime. Absolutely incredible stuff for the Oilers here, the 10-game winning streak, Tommy. What was the reaction like on the post-game Monday night?
Lots of happiness, not a lot of complaints, really. And I think more people were just kind of, or call it a sigh of relief, I suppose, because these have been close games the last 3. And you know, this Oilers team, like, it isn't pretty the way they're getting the job done. And that first 2 periods of the other night, there's some people like, hey, that was pretty boring in the first 2 periods, but it really opened up in the third period. I thought there was some great chances at both ends, recognizing Stuart Skinner holding the fort, certainly. And then there wasn't even much discussion about the officiating, nor should there have been. So it was generally quite content on the postgame show Saturday night, and that's fine. Now they've got 10 in a row, franchise record. Could they make it 11 against a Leafs squad that's trying to figure out its goaltending and has been slipping a little bit? I think there's a real good opportunity for that, and it tees up a Thursday matchup against a team that's equally as hot as the Oilers in the Seattle Kraken on the back of Joey Decord, Dusty.
Yeah.
They've been absolutely crushing it with Joey Decord. So a lot of good vibes, and outside of snoozing for the first 2 periods, the third period was a lot of entertaining opportunities both ways, and people are generally happy with the win in OT.
Your thoughts on the 10-game here? You can hit us up, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or you can get us in the nasty chat as well, where a bunch of comments have already came rolling in, and we'll get to those. If you're with us on the Lock Shop a little bit earlier, I just got texted by Jake from CoolBet. The 2 parlays we put together for the NFL games today are now available and ready to go in the exclusive section over at coolbet.com. Use the code LOCKSHOP when you sign up for an account, and you'll get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to 200 smackaroos. So if you're listening to the Oil Stream podcast later, and if you want to bet on the Edmonton Oilers, there's no better place to do it than at Cool, but especially with the exclusive boosts that we get because they are our exclusive sports book. Mark Lanigan is in and says, the power play has been frustrating over these last few games. The Bush bomb needs to be used a little bit more. So we'll get to that in a second, Mark.
Yep.
By the way, Mark, thanks for being in the Crack Pack break last night. I did a break last night, which was a lot of fun. Opened up 10 boxes of cards on Facebook. It was a good time. Mark was in the break.
Like old times.
Yeah, just like old times. It kind of starting to get back into a groove now. So as soon as I have any downtime, I'm always like, let's do something else. So I'm just like, okay, let's fire up card breaks again. So I'm back to doing that again. Yeah. I don't know. I just can't sit still. So that doesn't surprise anybody, I guess. But which aspect of how they won these 10 games impresses you the most, Tommy? And I'll lay out some options for you here.
Okay.
8 of them on the road. The power play being like below 20% during the stretch. Over the last 4 games, they haven't scored more than 3. They still won them. Mm-hmm. And I think you can throw in there with McLeod and Fogle moonlighting as second line wingers for Leon Draisaitl. So which element and Stuart Skinner's been outstanding. So which of these elements impresses you the most?
Can I add another option?
Yes.
Just like them finding ways to win and not changing their game when they're down. Like it just seems like a maturation has finally set in. I can't believe I'm saying this. I've been wanting to say it for a decade, and now it seems like there is this kind of maturation that has kind of come over this team. And where the hell was it in the first 5.5, 6 weeks of the season too? Maybe it was too much swagger and a few different elements, obviously, before the coaching change. But I look at them, and it seems to me like doesn't matter what situation they're in, doesn't matter if the other team's up a goal or 2. They don't give up they haven't gone down 3 really, and they find their way back into the game. And I suppose too, with the power play kind of not clicking the way we're used to it, that element is
like the 8 game heater, the first one.
Yeah.
The power play was en fuego, as some people say.
Yes.
This time, not so much, but they're still finding ways to win games. And it was Penner's Pancakes who says the last 4 games, scoring a total of 10 goals and winning them all.
Yeah.
Right? So
5-on-5 goals too, right? Mostly. I know the Bush bomb at the end of the game against Montreal, it's a power play marker, but haven't been getting, it's a lot of good 5-on-5 play and 3 lines rolling. Sometimes they get the 4th line going, but not often. And you've got 3 pairs on the back end that have given you consistent minutes, which is good. People praising Vinny Desharnais and both goalies chipping in with wins. There's a lot to like. Now, is it perfect? No. We'll talk about that certainly the rest of the show. But there seems to be a calmness. There seems to be a quiet confidence and a level of security when thinking about that this team. It's like, all right, they're going to be okay. They're not going to hit the panic button and start doing something stupid and opening things up and being susceptible to getting absolutely dummied in a game. That hasn't happened. Now they do have a couple of tougher opponents coming up, and that could change. And they have a big rivalry game coming up on Saturday. But the calmness and the poise that they've shown and finding ways to win, that to me is really stood out. It's like this team, every game they've got themselves a real shot at winning it, regardless of if they score first or not.
Hit us up in the nasty chat or at 780-218-9999. Portions of the Oil Stream brought to you by Boston Pizza, where every day in January is Pasta Tuesday. And go in, get those same deals you get on Pasta Tuesday, but every single day in the month of January at all Boston Pizzas. We should have more details here in the next day or so about our next live Boston Pizza. Could be as early as this weekend. So we'll get into that a little bit as we work our way through the week here with the Oil Stream and Boston Pizza. past a Tuesday every single day for the month of January, though, that just hits right.
It slaps.
Exactly. That's exactly what it does, Tommy. That's exactly what it does. Big U says, with the power play not going full bore, the team has had to focus on the 5-on-5, and it's paying off. You don't have the PP crutch to rely on saving them, which is like almost like a reverse psychology, like, oh man, power play is not going to save us. We better get going 5-on-5, right. But it seems to be working. But it's not even like they're lighting the world on fire. They're just playing good, sound hockey and not taking advantage of all of their opportunities because they've been peppering some of these teams with over 40 shots, but they've been taking advantage of enough of the opportunities, and they're really just not giving up a sniff right now.
No. You could really tell, too, on the power play, like Montreal, basically, they just played it like a condensed box, right? And they took away a lot of the lanes, and finally, when you saw the shot come from the point, and it was Cass saying it the whole time in the third period, he's like, just give it to Bouchard and shoot it at the net. They're trying to force the puck through. And I know this is just last game that I'm using as a sample size, but it's the 5-on-5 has made things easier. But the power play, imagine if it was humming again, back at like high 20s, in the high 20 percentile. That'd be great. It is, 7th going into that game the other night. But
well, the funny thing is, even if it was, you know what would have happened? They still would have won 10 in a row.
They still would have.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
It doesn't change much right now.
Yeah.
And their power play is going to be better than it has lately because, it's the Oilers' power play. So, of course, it's going to be better than it has as of late. As Gord says, power play will come around. Happy to win when not firing. We'll start firing, and we can win some games because of the power play. People are asking if we're going to get to practice today. Tommy was down there. That's why he's at his home studio today. Justin of Balgoni says, I hope Holloway stays in the minors and finds some confidence. Other people are asking, hey, do you guys know when Holloway comes up? X-Ray J chimes in and says, hopefully Holloway stays in Baco until late March, early April. The kid needs to build confidence down there and come up in playoff time ready to make a bottom 6 difference. Tommy, you hearing anything on Holloway?
Nothing right now. And I'm sure he's going to get a call up right away. He's only played a couple games down in Bakersfield, right? He's got a goal and an assist in the 2 games he's played. I don't know. I'm sure they're not rushing him, but the fact that they had Phil Kemp on the ice today, so Phil Kemp's still with the team, got into his first NHL game on Monday, which was great. That's nice. He only played 2:06, I think it was, at forward.
Yeah, at forward.
Yeah, at forward. So Gagné was taking not regular. He was being mixed in with the group yesterday, and I don't know where he's at injury-wise. Just obviously he's nicked up, hasn't played for the last couple of weeks, going back to before the Christmas holiday. And so with Holloway, he was playing the best he's ever played at the NHL level right before the injury, and maybe they do want to give him a few games. I don't know how many they have in mind, if it's a handful, but I don't think 2 and back up is necessarily the way they want to go. They probably want to get him 5 or 6, maybe keep him down there another week or 2, depending on where Gagné is at. And I think he was turning a corner personally. And I think calling him back up after a few games when they feel like he's back up and running and it's like, okay, he's doing good. Getting him back into the mix in the top 9, I think would be good. I think they do start him in a 4th line role when he comes back, just like for a game or 2, but that could change. They might just thrust him into a 3rd line spot. But the other thing too is, like, what do you do with your wingers right now? Because you have a guy who's supposed to be a centerman who's playing wing. But it's going to be interesting. I think Holloway, especially if he has more than a point a game down in Baco, I don't think he needs a ton of time down there. I wouldn't keep him till April or May or March even. I would get him up here in a week or 2.
Penis. Damn it. They got me again. Unbelievable. I mean, the last name is Ness. I didn't even think. But once I said it, I was like, oh, man, funny guys. YouTube is just savage. It's just savage. Anyway, Mr. Ness says the Oilers are the next Detroit Lions. Don't compare the Oilers to the Detroit Lions, okay? The Oilers have 5 Stanley Cup championships. The Oilers have Connor McDavid. The Oilers have won playoff rounds recently. The Oilers went to a Stanley Cup final in 2006. The Detroit Lions hadn't won a playoff game since I was 11 years old and have never been in a Super Bowl. So I know things haven't been great for the Oilers and it was a decade of darkness, but don't compare the Oilers to a team that went 0-16 in a season. Come on. And enough with the funny sex names on YouTube, too. Don't you laugh at these people, Tommy. Come on, man.
That was too good. I hope Trev clips that.
You know, if I didn't think of, I could have just probably breezed right through it. And then, damn it. They got me again. They got me again. That was
you got gotten. Good.
I got YouTubed. That's what happened right there. I think that's what they say. I got YouTubed. Now I'm completely rattled. Tommy, you were down at practice today, buddy. And okay. So wait, before we get to the practice, because Evander, just quickly, and then we'll discuss it. But Evander Kane was moved up to Draisaitl's line with Foegele. Okay,
he was.
So let's just stop this conversation there because the Oilers have won 10 in a row, and I hop on yesterday online, and I just see people bitching back and forth about Evander Kane. Some people think they should trade Evander Kane. Some people think they should leave Evander Kane where he is. Some people think Evander Kane should be producing more where he is. Some people think Evander Kane will only produce more when he gets moved back up, and that's what should end up happening. So, like, you've won 10 in a row. Everything's clicking. He's not on the penalty kill anymore. That's fine. They don't miss him on the penalty kill. He's on the second unit power play, but let's be honest, the second unit power play doesn't exist basically here. And he's playing in the bottom six with a lot of great offensive talent. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised because we love this fan base because they are so passionate. But my goodness, when you won 10 in a row, and the first thing I see online on Sunday is people talking about Evander Kane either negatively or there's these battles. I'm just like, man, like you just can't have anything nice. Like you've got a team that has Evander Kane on the third bloody line and you won 10 in a row. Why can't you just be happy with that? And I don't get it.
My entire mentions right now is all people going back and forth about Evander Kane being on the second line and him complaining and things going so good with Ryan McLeod at second line left wing instead of Evander Kane. But I'm not surprised Evander Kane's back up on the second line. He is a top six winger. People are saying, he complained and that's why he's up there. No, he's a better NHL player than Ryan McLeod. That's why he's back up there. Ryan McLeod will be a much better NHL player as he continues to improve, find consistency, learn the little things that come with being in the league for multiple years. He's getting closer to, what is he at, 3-4 full seasons now. It takes time. And Evander Kane, he's his contributions offensively have dwindled a little bit. He did score against Anaheim. He got an assist winning a face-off the other night on that first goal in Montreal. And over the course of his career, he's a top six guy. Sometimes he's a top line winger. Like, what's the problem here? And people are saying, don't switch up a good thing. Well, we kind of knew, and we said it here on the Oil Stream. I did at least. I thought that McLeod being on that line would have its run, and then they would move him back to the third line and probably back at center. Although today he was rotating in on the wing, and Derek Ryan was still at center. We'll see if that's
what's going on there.
I don't know. Maybe it could be a case of, hey, they like him and the way he's playing on the wing, and they continue to ride that and see how it works. But
then you have to trade for a center, right? Have to.
Yeah, I mean, I still think they're going to try to see if if McLeod is still a viable option at third line center. Like a 7-8 game stretch isn't going to change everything. It's nice to know that you can have McLeod play on the wing and that he could contribute, and he's playing better now. But I don't understand getting all up in arms about this because you knew Kane would end up back in the top six at some point. He has not been healthy. He's been nicked up for the last little while, and that's not a good thing. That's slowed down his production. But you want him to be better, especially if he is getting closer to 100%. Start contributing and start playing better, and he'll be back at the top six. So, not surprised. Do I love it? I'm not as upset as some people. If it works, it works. Great. He's supposed to be a top six winger.
You're paying him to be a top six winger.
Yeah.
For the first 25 games of the season, he was probably your most consistent producer.
He got banged up.
Yeah, he's been banged up. How do you think he handled being on the third line.
Begrudgingly?
Yeah, I think so. Did you read the spec piece?
Was it yesterday or today?
Well, it must have been. I read it yesterday, so it was either. Yeah, I think Spec chatted with him before the Montreal game, so I read it yesterday, and he did say, my job right now is to really not say anything about where I'm playing, but he also said that he's probably never had this little of opportunity his entire career, including his rookie season. So. Right. I think he handled it pretty well for a decent amount of time, but was obviously frustrated. He's probably been frustrated the whole time here that he never gets any power play time on the top unit. Like for a while there, they would at least flip him and Hyman. And Hyman, remember when they used to take the front guy off and the McDavid and Draisaitl, those guys would stay out there? Kane used to get a little bit of a mix in that. They haven't done that in quite some time. Usually the whole unit stays out there.
Well, Hyman's going to score 50 this year.
Yeah, I know. You're not taking him off for that. I'm just saying in the past, those two did switch a little bit.
Right.
But now that unit stays out there, but what are you going to do? I mean, you're not taking Zach Hyman out of any opportunity. The guy's been absolutely amazing. So how much is on Evander Kane to produce here now alongside Leon Draisaitl? Because I don't know if Kane and Draisaitl have really gelled, in my opinion here. But I mean, everybody looks better when they're with McDavid anyway. What do you expect of Foegele, Kane, and Draisaitl?
Big boy hockey, straight up. Big boy hockey, 3 big dudes. And, you lose a little bit of finesse with Ryan McLeod, a little bit of speed. Kane still skates really well. Like, it should, in theory, work. Kane's a finisher. Draisaitl's a distributor. Foegele mucks it up and skates fast and scores greasy goals when he does usually score. Although he scored a couple nice goals, whatever. But that should be a big, heavy line that has offensive flair and panache and can score nice goals and can score ugly goals and can rough up defensemen and be hard to play against in the offensive zone. That's what I expect of them. Is it, trying to smash a square peg through a round hole with Evander Kane and Leon Draisaitl? I don't think it's that bad. Like, I think these guys can find chemistry and find ways to read off of each other. They're 2 cerebral offensive players who have great touch in the offensive zone. They should be able to amend their games or mold their games to work off of one another. I think that possibility is there. I mean, has it worked in the past? Not always. But remember how good Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, and Yamamoto were? And then how they weren't good after that? Like, it just things like that. There's ebbs and flows to this. So I don't know. I don't have as much of an issue with Kane playing with Draisaitl as some. And I do think it could work. And I think that they can play smash mouth big boy hockey and hurt you a lot of different ways if they are going to play together for a prolonged period of time.
I think they can. I think they have what it takes to be a physically imposing line. I think they might be a little inconsistent with it. But when they're on, they can definitely be that because they're all big bodies. Do you think it just clicks for Kane now, getting back up there? Is he going to pot a couple in a game and then he kind of gets going again? Or do you think this is a little bit of a work in progress? And I'll ask this question. Does he get with Draisaitl and score 2 goals and then everybody says, well, he's healthy again? You know how it works here, right? When somebody struggles, they're banged up. When they're scoring, they're healthy. So do you think all of a sudden he looks better?
Yes to everything you said.
Yeah.
Just to be positive. I think it could work. I think that they could have lots of offensive contributions. Like the goal they scored the other night was a greasy goal, but it worked. Like, they can do that. I'm sure if they read off of each other and start to figure each other's tendencies out, they can score pretty goals too. I think it has a decent potential to work. Has it really in the past? No, maybe not. But I do think that there's a possibility when you have smart, offensively gifted players working with one another, they generally find a way to make it work. If everybody kind of knows their role on their line, like if Warren Foegele knows, I should not be carrying the puck through the neutral zone.
Yeah, he knows.
Go hard to the corners and then in front of the net. That's it. That's good. Draisaitl can carry the puck through the neutral zone. He's the guy that can dish it off. Kane, he's got to go be hard on the forecheck. Go be a grease ball in front of the net. And then be a solid option for Draisaitl, maybe for some give and go stuff or looking. He can handle pucks down low and he needs to be good off the cycle. Like, I have more trust in Evander Kane with the puck on his stick than I do Warren Foegele. but still everything should be flowing on that line through Leon Draisaitl. And I think that those three can find a way to make it work. Keep it simple.
Dustin Nielson, Tommy Gazzola with you here on Edmonton Sports Talk. You can listen on TuneIn. You can listen at edmontonsportstalk.com, or, of course, you can watch and listen over on our YouTube channel. If you are watching at YouTube at any time, please subscribe. Just hit that little bell up in the top right corner, and that'll get you subbed to the channel. You can text us at 780-218-9999. The Liquid Beaver texts in and says, would it be silly to suggest that Kane, Draisaitl, and McLeod should be aligned? I know they're all lefties, but McLeod makes Draisaitl skate instead of coast. Please don't mock me. First of all, Liquid Beaver, there is no mocking of anybody here, except for me when I accidentally say a funny sex name from the YouTube channel.
Like Liquid Beaver's true name?
Well, not anymore. He will never be known as Liquid Beaver. So we'll get to that in just one sec. As always, portions of the Oil Stream brought to you by Boston Pizza, where every day in January is Pasta Tuesday. So why not take the family out for a nice little pasta treat? Get some spaghetti, get some linguine, get some fettuccine, which is my favorite, and treat yourself to some of those Thai chicken bites while you're there as well. They are absolutely delicious. Tommy, what do you think? Is it McLeod or Foegele a better fit with Kane and Draisaitl?
I would think McLeod. Like, to me, with the way he can handle the puck, would be another option to carry and transport the puck. But maybe the coaching staff doesn't see it that way, and they like what Foegele does, and his simplicity benefits or potentially benefits Draisaitl and Kane more than McLeod, perhaps. I wouldn't mind seeing it, to be honest with you. Like, if it isn't working with Foegele, like, then I would say, well, why not try McLeod? There's nothing against that. There's nobody that says you can't. And, you know, considering how there's been so much fluidity between the lines all season long, like, I'd give it a whirl if things aren't working with Foegele on that line with Kane and Draisaitl. I have no issue with it whatsoever. So I'm open to it. Let's see how it goes with Kane and Foegele with Draisaitl, and maybe they do take a look at McLeod and giving him a bump up again, and he plays with those two. What's wrong with trying? What's wrong with trying that at all? I don't have an issue with it.
X-Ray J is in and says, I heard Elliott saying the Oilers are back in the mix for Corey Perry. Somebody's asking if that was over the weekend. As you said on Friday, Tommy, the Oilers would be interested in Perry. They think he'd be a good fit, but they're not 100% sure if he would come to Canada, right? That's the latest we have on Corey Perry.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and then we had Dave Pagnotta on Saturday on Hello Hockey. Same thing. Like, and Pagnotta added that he thinks that Perry wants to stay out east.
All right, so I would gauge it right now as highly unlikely, but we'll see. Penner's Pancake says, Perry, Maroon, and Monahan for the bottom six. They're all realistic and doable. Yes, Maroon is slow, but is gritty and has cup experience. Imagine him and Perry wreaking havoc in the playoffs. We've already kind of passed along our thoughts on Corey Perry and how if they wanted to bring him in, he would be a good fit, but it doesn't seem likely. What about Patty Maroon on the other side, buddy? How about that for a reunion? Wouldn't that be something?
Yes, it would be. I don't know if it happens. Pat Maroon, man, what a story. And I said that I would totally be for it just because I have a lot of admiration for Pat Maroon. And I still think he could contribute, and he has that Stanley Cup prowess, if you will. I don't know if it's a thing that they're looking at. I can ask, certainly, but I say yes all day to that just because of the time I've spent around Pat Maroon and me appreciating what he's been able to do on the ice over the course of his career, post-Oilers especially. I don't know how realistic it is, though. Perry and Monahan, those are two names that are on the list. But Pat Maroon, I'm not sure if he's there. I like it, though.
This text in, no name on it, 780-218-9999. And that's always one element of the Oil Stream. Something that we didn't have on Oil Stream pre-Edmonton Sports Talk is the text line. So we love when you hit it, 780-218-9999. This text in and says, Kane is not a cerebral player. Tommy, I saw you replied, why not? He replied again and said, doesn't see the ice well, poor passer in hockey sense. He's a pure shooter. Now, I would say that I would view Kane as like a pure shooter and a power forward when his game is on. But I don't think that necessarily means like he's not a cerebral player at all. But I would lean towards him being more of a pure shooter. I mean, he's one of the few guys on the team that can straight up beat a goalie from 30 feet away. He
can also bang and crash when he wants to. He can engage physically when he wants to. I think he's at his best when he's all in, and you could tell he's feeling it. But when he's not, that's when he's kind of just lumbering around and gets sloppy with the puck on his stick and isn't doing what he's known for. But I don't know how you don't say he's a cerebral offensive player when the guy scores 20, 30 goals for the majority of his career. Like, he has those. It's just how the level of engagement from him when he's on and he's feeling it. Look out. When he's not, sometimes he's kind of a ghost out there.
We had Darren Dreger and Rashad both on the show this morning. A couple of things coming out of those conversations on the Nielsen Show every morning from 6 to 9 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Dreger said the Oilers should be looking for another Ekholm type of deal, which is like a bigger hockey trade that brings in another significant piece. Tommy, I mean, they'd love to do that. Why wouldn't they?
Of course.
But on a scale of 1 to 10 from a let's live in this world scenario, how likely is it that they could actually pull the trigger on an Ekholm style trade for a right shot D-man, an Ekholm style trade for another top 6 winger? Like, it just, to me, that seems near impossible to pull off.
5 or 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the chance of it happening, but I was surprised.
60% shots not bad, buddy. If you go 6 out of 10, 60% shots not bad. I was going to put it at like 25%.
I'm trying not to be a Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
Because I know I get labeled that.
I'll Debbie down. I'll Debbie down on something as ridiculous as that.
Okay, fine. I don't know. I don't want to really discount them for being able to try to pull off something significant. I just don't think that there's a lot of wiggle room, not only from an Oilers standpoint, but other teams too, unless they really make the money work. And that could be a factor that kills a potential deal. But if you really want to get something done and you identify a piece that you want, there are ways to work around that. We saw Toronto do it last year. We saw some other teams make some moves to push money around in cap space. It does come with an extra cost though. So I don't know, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Just because I don't want to be surprised again like they did last year with that move to get Ekholm. And I also want to add, they had no hope of getting Erik Karlsson last year. I love people that
was never there.
Almost got Karlsson. Never. They didn't even make an offer. There was no offer.
And also,
there was a discussion. No offer.
It never made sense either, really.
No.
I didn't think.
No.
Let Bouchard be Bouchard. They needed an Ekholm, and they got the perfect guy. And when he's on, he has been outstanding.
Yep.
Portions of the Oil Stream brought to you by Popeyes, where, of course, you can get that Oilers meal right now at all Popeyes locations. They've got the collector's cups. 4 of them will be available. It's the Hyman Cup that's available right now for just a few more days. So you want to head immediately to your Popeyes. I saw a few more people over the weekend getting their Hyman Cups. Everybody's excited. Go get it done at Popeyes. I mean, I don't know if it moves like the 6 o'clock or lager. Maybe they'll be sold out at some point. So do not wait. Go get your Hyman Cups. For $16.99, you'll get the collector's cup. You'll get a spicy or regular chicken sandwich. Your choice on that one. It's not like they force it upon you. You get the nugs, you get the Cajun fries, you get the dip, you get a medium drink, and then you get the collector's cup that you can add to any of your Oilers Man Cave collections. Get that done at all Popeyes locations.
Hey, is 6 o'clock or lager back? Like that third tank?
Yeah. It's been restocked. So we have a 6 o'clock or lager reload. It happened late last week. Rest of the province should be getting some this week. And, continue to try to get it on tap at a bunch of places as well. And, you know what YouTube Trev was saying to me today, we were talking between shows, and he goes, his buddies down like in his hometown, they were playing like beer pong, and they had the 6 o'clock or lager. So he was fired up for that. And then I don't know if he was telling me he was at a party another one of his buddies was at a party, and he managed to snake a couple pictures. Like, this is a party with a bunch of younger folks. And a few of the randoms had 6 o'clock or lager as well. So, it was 6 o'clock. Look, it's a delicious beer. It's that simple. It's a delicious beer. Why don't you get your Hyman cup from Popeyes, pour probably 1.5 6 o'clock or lagers in there, and chug it back like a man or a woman. You know, I think that'd be pretty good, actually. I think that'd be
I like that.
That would be a lot of fun. So Rashog on the show this morning. I thought he made interesting because we talked about it on Friday. Do they bring in a third line center? Do they bring in or like a significant bottom 6 forward? Let's just stay that. Do they bring in a veteran D-man that can play? They're going to have to miss some man games on the blue line at some point. They've missed 3 games all season on the blue line.
Incredible.
Like they're going to get banged up a little bit at some point. That's just naturally how it goes. In fact, you'd rather get that stuff out of the way now than have somebody get hurt in March or April. That would suck the big one.
Knock on wood, buddy.
And this desk is fine hardwood. So, yes, knocked on the desk. And then, obviously maybe a little bit of an update for the goaltender. So I threw those options in front of Rashog this morning, and he kind of brought up a top 6 winger ahead of all of those. And I was just like, man, like for this team to bring in another top 6 winger, which would be pricey, could be the Ekholm style trade that we were just talking about that Dreger sort of brought up.
Yeah.
That kind of takes away your ability to get the depth defenseman, to get the bottom 6 forward, to get the goalie, because a lot of your assets are going to be pumped into another top 6 forward. Like we know, and for a long time, it was Yamamoto, it didn't work. It was Jesse Puljujarvi, it didn't work. Back to Yamamoto again. Back to Jesse Puljujarvi again. None of these guys are going to work. Then it was supposed to be Connor Brown. Connor Brown has not worked. So there's still like 5 top 6 forwards, the guys that we would view top 6 forwards. Nothing against Foegele, nothing against McLeod. Do you actually think adding a top 6 forward could be at the top or should be at the top of the priority list? Because I feel like, to me, you have the ability of like 7 top 6 forwards because McDavid and Draisaitl are so damn good,
Yeah. If you identify a player or two that are top 6 forwards that you think you have a realistic chance of creating a deal for, I'd do that over just going out and getting a bottom 6 guy. And then if you think about it, then it moves guys down the depth chart. If you go get a legit top 6 guy, is there enough on this roster offensively or up front that if you go get another top 6 guy, the guys that go down, the guy that does end up going down to the bottom 6, does that automatically make your bottom 6 better enough?
The bump down, like is Foegele going back down to your bottom 6 make your bottom 6 good enough? So let's eliminate, forget about whoever that right forward is. Your bottom 6 would be McLeod, Foegele, Holloway, maybe. Let's just play that game.
Maybe.
And then Janmark, Connor Brown, Derek Ryan.
Yeah. And Sam Gagner in there somewhere. And then you keep in mind that you have, if you get this deal done, or if there is a target or a couple targets for a top 6 guy and you get that, are you happy? Are you content with a couple of guys? This is all hypothetical, obviously, in McLeod and Foegele, who were top 6 recently, being on the third line. Are you happy? Are you satisfied as a fan base? Can you go, yep, that's okay. That third line is going to be okay. Or do you have to go get a top 6 and a bottom 6 guy? But then I also think that they really need to add a defenseman because I don't like the chances of them staying healthy. Like you said, we knocked on wood. I think you need to add a veteran defenseman just to have one around because guys get banged up pretty bad, especially around the playoffs.
D. Whiteson, it says, trading for Erik Karlsson would have sunk the Oilers. Bouchard, Hyman, and McLeod is the cap hit for Karlsson. Well, they would have moved some things around and let's not talk about that. We don't need to talk about that. We're talking about
it wasn't a thing, really.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need to talk about something that was never even close to getting
I brought
done.
it up, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize.
780-218-9999 in the nasty chat as well. This text is in. From Joe from DV, I believe everyone needs to back off Kane. He will be engaged in the playoffs, and that's all that matters. I mean, but like, how many people? I don't know. I mean, a lot of people that I follow aren't really on Kane. I know there's some people who are looking at some of the numbers and they're not liking what they're seeing from like an analytical side of things. But I mean, like, this isn't oh my God, they're going to run Kane out of town. Like, I don't think it's even anywhere close to that. Unless I'm missing something. And I might be missing something. I've kind of blocked myself off of the analytics dark web, so to speak. But I don't think it's that bad here. Like, what's going on right now?
No, I'm wondering if like the shift in attitude towards Kane is coming from a couple of those comments that he's made publicly on intermission interviews. You know, limited minutes. I wasn't doing much when I was actually. And
that was with Woody too, wasn't it? Like the first one. Yeah, the first one was with Woodcroft. Yeah.
Second one was with Knobloch as the coach, but I wonder if that's part of it. And he's got 25 points in 38 games. He's been hurt or nicked up for what, like I'd say a month of the season. I don't know. I think he's on pace for what, a 50-point season. That's all right. I think that's just fine. 50 to 60 points is good.
50 points isn't good enough, I don't think.
Well,
mind you, he's not on the top power play. He's not on the top power play unit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, he's not getting his cookies there.
Yeah.
It's all 5-on-5.
So you would view 50 points as a good season for Evander Kane? If it came with 30 goals, 50 points?
What about 25 and 25? And then the timing of the goals, too. He finds a way to score timely goals.
He had prior to the last
right?
5-6 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, like McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman. Those are your dogs that are going to get the big points. We know that. Bouchard now, throw him in the mix.
You know what's crazy is if you look at Evander Kane's career, he's only been over 50 points. Now, some of this is due to injury, but he's only been over 50 points twice in his career.
Yeah, I know.
So is Evander Kane nothing more than a 25 goal, 50-point guy? Is that who we need to expect Evander Kane to be? I always kind of viewed him as a little bit more playing with Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. Like last year, he had 16 and 41.
15 years. That's I don't know how he can change himself. Or he's been in the league for 13 years, whatever it is now. But
yeah, he's 32 years old. He's been playing since he was basically 18, right? So
yeah, and like he was an Atlanta Thrasher for crying out loud. But 50 to 60 points for Evander Kane, I think is okay. Like I said, those other guys are getting the big points for you. Those are the guys that are going to put up the numbers. They pile them up. As a guy that gets zero minimal power play time, yes, top 6, 5-on-5, 50 to 60, and that's what he's done consistently. You could bank him on getting that for you every single year. I'm going, okay, and he's tough, and he scores timely goals or makes big plays at the right time. Does he have some other stuff that you go, I wish he didn't do that or act like that? Yeah, of course. But in his time here, he's been pretty serviceable, and still, by all accounts, he's generally on his best behavior.
This text is in to 780-218-9999. Might have to move on from Fogle or McLeod to acquire a top 6 forward with term. If that's the case, maybe a bottom 6 forward would be needed too. So that one in from Ryan saying, if you're going to acquire a guy with term and a cost, you might have to move out one of those two contracts to get it done. And I guess at this point, we're never going to say McLeod and Fogle are unmovable. I mean, if they're playing well and their trade value is good, would you trade Warren Fogle and a little something to get an upgrade and a legitimate top 6 right wing in your top?
Yes.
And yeah, you would, right? So
of course,
yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I don't I don't think he's a darling among the fans. I think they appreciate him for what he
Yeah,
does.
I mean,
but
I think more people
daddy jerseys out
No,
there.
but I think more people like Fogle than don't like Fogle. But not, I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry to the fan base, but who cares whether or not you like Warren Fogle? I mean, if they have to move him to.
I like Warren Fogle.
Yeah, I guess I never really thought about them including one of those two guys in a deal to get the upgrade, but that is certainly something that's certainly something you could do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For sure.
Why not?
Portions of the Oil Stream brought to you by One Putt Virtual Golf, one of the best and most accurate indoor golf places in the city for both serious and the casual golfers. They got 6 TrackMan bays, which makes it the perfect place to golf, hang out with your friends, watching the Oilers game. One Putt is hosting their second 4-man cash scramble from January 19th to the 31st with an even bigger guaranteed prize pool. This time it is $1,500. First place is guaranteed $1,000, a cool grand, some people say. Second place is guaranteed $500. The prize pool will increase if there are more than 15 entries. It only costs $250 for your team to join, and it includes 4 hours of golf to finish your round anytime during the tournament window. That's all you have to do. Play your round during the tournament window with your team and get into the mix here. To learn more, check them out, www.oneputt.ca/scramble, or you can follow their Instagram account at OnePuttYEG.
Did you get my text?
I got your text. I wasn't even going to bring your text up. I was just going to very neatly tie it in to Zach Hyman not making the All-Star game. But I'll share your text now that it's out there. Can we please make fun of the All-Star jerseys? Tommy texts me. Of course we can, Tommy. I tried to put it out there nicely. I don't like them. I'm sure some of you do, I think was my tweet. Now, I'm trying not to go on an All-Star jersey rant because I don't even care about All-Star weekend. So why would I really give two you-know-whats about the jerseys? With that being said, if you want my hot take and my opinion on them, I think they look absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. They are the worst pieces of crap I've ever seen. And Jason LeDuc was like, Tom, your age is showing. And I was like, we're looking at practice.
Tommy, you're not even 40. How can your age be showing?
I'm not even. I don't know. Late 30s guy. I don't know. But like, I tweeted about it, and it caught a little bit of wind and picked up a bit. But I went back and I'm like, was I being too hard on these jerseys? And I looked at them again, and I was like, no, they suck. They really suck. And I understand Bieber and his little ideas of designing jerseys. He did the Maple Leafs one, which is okay. But these All-Star jerseys are terrible. Like, they really suck. Like, you don't have to do much for an All-Star jersey. The star behind the NHL logo is weird. The Adidas stripes with a couple of stars, it just looks weird. It looks like a practice jersey. You're getting 4 practice jerseys out there, and they're going to charge $300 a pop for them. The name bar that looks like font text
on the bottom.
With the numbers that are not spaced properly, like stripes, symmetry. It's like an organic thing in our minds. Symmetry is what we are attracted to, and we decide, symmetry makes things look nice. Like, is that a nice painting? Well, the symmetry is beautiful. Is that girl beautiful? Yes. Look how symmetrical it is. Is that guy good looking? Yeah. Very symmetrical eyebrows. Like, it's proven. This jersey, the numbers are like off. The star looks dumb. It looks like a 4-year-old drew it and then smashed an NHL logo. And then the striping with the Adidas. It sucks. And they've had some really crappy All-Star jerseys the NHL has in recent years. They got it all right in Miami last year were awesome with the reverse retro theme. I loved those, even though they were not original, but they, variation of the old All-Star jerseys from the late 90s. The ones in Vegas were just fine. They were nice. They were clean. They were simple. The ones in Nashville were nice, clean, simple. You could differentiate them. The Tampa ones were weird. I think the ones in Columbus were weird as well, but these ones are just dumb. These are dumb jerseys. They're dumb practice jerseys. Rant over. I got it off my chest. If you disagree, that's fine. totally subjective. These are stupid All-Star jerseys.
Tell me, I have to ask you. I don't know if I've ever asked you this, like in person as a buddy, or even on like the Oil Stream, because you do break a lot of good jersey news. Like where does the passion for jerseys come from with you?
I have no idea. I just like jerseys, uniforms. Like you go out there, look good, play good, feel good, right? Like I've always loved uniforms and goalie equipment.
I mean, I was a goalie, so I loved goalie equipment.
Yeah.
Like
football uniforms, I love. Baseball uniforms, I love. Basketball, I appreciate, and I really like what the NBA is doing with all the different uniforms that they roll out. I don't care the teams have 7 different uniforms. I remember when the Arizona Diamondbacks rolled out like 7 uniforms for their upcoming season, and half of them looked like slow pitch jerseys. I thought that was awesome. I'm a jersey dork. I don't know. I have great conversations with Jack and Ken from Pro-Am because there's just something about it, like uniforms and the aesthetic of sport, I'm just drawn to. But
it's because you're a good looking guy and you want your sports teams to look good too, you know?
Yeah, I guess I do. I like that theory, but man, it's just, I saw those jerseys. I'm like, these jerseys
legit look Mickey Mouse. They really do.
And people go, well, it's Bieber. And I'm like, yeah, I respect and appreciate everything that Bieber's done.
But Justin Bieber's a Canadian. He's a great hockey fan. He's an amazing musician, but apparently he's shitty at designing all-star jerseys. Like that's what it is.
I feel like he doesn't color in the lines, and I feel like he uses MS Paint terribly, and now all of that suspicion has come to fruition.
It does look like they were designed on like a website that had a template in like 2007. And you could just move things around and drop them in, you know?
Stripes, nice lines, smart use of colors. Not hard. This is not a new style of jersey. This is a dumb style of jersey. Rant over.
All right, there you go. Ask
Serenity now.
Ask for Zach Hyman not being there. I'll just quickly say this.
Yeah.
If it disappoints Zach Hyman that he's not there, then I don't like it. If Zach Hyman would rather spend some time with his family, then that's fine too. I mean, I think Zach Hyman has played well enough to be an all-star. I think it would have been a cool honor for him to be an all-star, but that's about as far as I'm going to go. I'm not going to rant and bitch about this team having 4 people and this team having 4 people. I don't care. Like I said, all-star weekend doesn't really do it for me. But if Zach Hyman wanted to be there and he's disappointed that he didn't get voted in, then that's a tough pill to swallow, and it sucks for him. But in the long haul, I mean, it's a few extra days off for a guy that's going to be busting his balls through the playoffs for you. So it's not the end of the world, unless he really wanted to be there. So
yeah, I'm sure he did in his hometown. He is having an all-star season, no question there. He deserves to be there. That's the fan vote thing. Is it flawed? Sure. It's never going to be perfect and appease everyone. Do they lean towards getting more host players in from the host city? 100%. He's having a phenomenal season. He deserves to be there. I like your take on it, though.
I see Shen from One Putt actually sliding into the nasty chat here, just reminding people that registration for Cash Scramble closes on Thursday, January 18th. For all of you oil streamers right there, Shen, you see, Shen runs One Putt Virtual Golf. A nasty, just like many of you. That's why people who follow Edmonton Sports Talk support other people who follow Edmonton Sports Talk, because you're all a part of the family, which I absolutely love to see. What do you think happens against Toronto tomorrow, buddy?
I think it's going to be another close one. I hope there's a lot of scoring, though, like a 5-4 game.
I would think it's a more high-scoring affair than what we've seen lately, right?
Yeah, I think so. There's something about when the Leafs come to town in the building, anything can happen, and guys get overexcited. So I think we're in for a fun, entertaining night tomorrow night.
All right, that is going to do it for the Oil Stream. A huge thanks to One Putt and Popeyes. Get that Oilers meal at Popeyes. Get into this cash scramble at One Putt. Registration closes on the 18th. It's Pasta Tuesday every single day in the month of January. And watch for details on an upcoming watch party for an Oilers pre- and post-game show with Tommy here in the very near future at Boston Pizza. Tommy, you enjoy the rest of your day, buddy. I'll be back with the Nielsen Show tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, getting you ready for the Oilers and the Leafs. And we'll talk to you tomorrow, man.
Go Lions.